We're going to call the select board meeting for July 14th to order at 7:05. Mr. Davison, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oh, that's right. You don't do that. I think so. How about John? Will you do that? Right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I didn't bring cheat sheet.
Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for July 14th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion?
I think you and I spoke, I know I did with Mike, that the deadline has come and passed if we're going to apply for tier 2 on the Rutland Regional Plan. We probably can't do anything on that tonight if it hasn't been warned. Is that correct?
That's a tough one.
I think that one should have been, that should be warned because that's one that's probably going to draw some citizens.
Well, then let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting and hope that we don't upset Devin and the boys too much.
It'll be all right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'd like to be timely, but
It has to be warned. You're right. And that's an oversight on my part. Because we did talk about that last
as long
week.
as we put it on for the next one.
The 28th meeting or the 21st?
28th.
It's gotta be the 28th, right?
Yeah, because the 21st is a special meeting just for the. I can remember how to spell tier. Okay. So all in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Citizens comments, items not on the
Probably do
agenda.
the minutes first.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
And make a motion to approve the minutes for June 23rd, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. On page 5, down in heavy dark letters about halfway, our Steele made a motion to define that for general knowledge regarding personal matter at hands would put the board at a substantial disadvantage because of the sensitive nature of the personnel situation. I think they both should be personnel.
Agreed.
That's the only thing I found.
Anything else?
I had nothing.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Now we'll do citizens comments. Items not on the agenda. Yes.
Just a question. I believe I read the correct agenda. We hope I did. Tonight's agenda includes discussion of East-West Crystal Haven neighborhood. Am I correct?
We're
Okay.
specifically going to discuss whether or not to close that loop.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay,
So
and then
discussing
also a presentation about
The stormwater
further
project.
down stormwater in that area.
That wasn't on the agenda
Yes,
for
it
tonight.
is.
I read it there.
750 West Crystal Haven Stormwater Project.
Oh,
But it's, yeah, I think it's an update
Oh,
on where we're
all
at.
right.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying before I try to add something that's not on the agenda. If we're talking about road closures and openings, at some point, I'd like there to be a little bit of a discussion on that piece of Crystal Lane that goes from Route 30 down to where it joins East Crystal Haven. There's a little section.
Yep.
It's generally closed in the winter. Sometimes the plowing stops before they remember to put up a barricade, which sometimes surprises people. It's a dicey area in terms of safety. I always feel more comfortable, and I go both ways on it, but I feel more comfortable when I'm turning from Route 30 down, but then there's always the possibility that someone will be headed up there and there's really not room for 2 vehicles. A question, and I'm just asking this as a question, would it be worth considering, and you'd have to talk to other users, having that be one way going down, but then maybe have a sign that does not, that says one way and doesn't have people coming up it and turning onto 30. I use it going down more often because sometimes when you take the first left turn, which is East Crystal Haven, just north of Crystal Beach, sometimes when you take that, if someone's flying around the corner, that's a dicey situation too. So sometimes I'll think, no, I'm not going to turn here. I'm going to just wait and turn down Crystal Lane. But then you sometimes have, well, if someone's coming up at you, you're already into your turn off 30 and you can't really stop. So just something to consider if we're looking at safety in the neighborhood.
That would be a good agenda for the future. Good item.
Yeah. I know it's not on the agenda tonight, but I'm just planting the seed on.
It's a good seed. I think that merits discussion. That may not be a bad suggestion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, every time I go by that, I think how dangerous.
No, it would.
I've never actually driven down that little stretch of road. In or out. Never. I've never taken that road.
I've seen, but I've never found out.
You know, I've driven by it. I know they close it in the winter because it's problematic plowing it.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll get some
Nobody's
input.
driveway comes off that little section. It's between two houses.
It's just a shortcut.
But you know when it's really useful to use that is when the roads get really muddy, mucky. It saves a little wear and tear on the other section of the road to not have to drive the curvy part there.
Yeah, because East Crystal.
I mean, it's useful, but it would probably be safer if maybe it was one way going down.
When that's not open, East Crystal Haven gets all the traffic.
Right.
Okay, that's something that we can.
Yeah, it seems dicey pulling out of there.
I guess
What's the name of that little road again?
Crystal Lane.
Crystal Lane.
they get some loose dirt and stuff on that too, and it makes it a little slippery pulling up out.
Yeah.
I mean, going way back, I've had neighbors who went off the road there, and I've had a few like, okay, you know, what are we gonna do moments? Somebody's either gotta back down or you can't really stop because of traffic. If you're headed down already, it's really hard to reverse course and back up on, you can't back up onto 30.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chairman, Jeff has a comment.
Yes, Jeff.
Crystal Lane is sketchy. It technically doesn't meet V-Trans standards as far as leaving 30, the slope is too much. That's why when you're pulling out and you're peeling out, you can't have a safe approach to the road. So you're not supposed to have, for the first 20 feet, you're not supposed to drop more than 7 inches. And that's significantly more than that.
I would think so. Like I said, I've never actually driven that. Maybe I'll take
It's sketchy pulling out of there for sure.
a left in there on my way up to Half Moon tomorrow and see what I think.
it does save wear and tear on the road in the springtime when it's muddy down there along East Crystal, down near the common area and all that area. So there's times when it's useful.
I can see where going in would be much less interesting than going out.
Yes, that's been my experience.
Anything else for citizens' comments?
Do you have that lady's name?
I do not.
I need her name, Dick, yeah.
My name?
Yes,
Lynn Gee.
Lynn.
Sorry.
Anything else for citizens' comments? Green Mountain Church of Christ stormwater issue. Jeff, you're up. You can, if you would come to the podium and you can tell us what you know and we'll go from there.
Well, is there anybody here? No, from?
I don't see him.
Well, I've met with, one gentleman from the church regarding the issue of deteriorating driveway. The drawings, elevations from pre-existing to what they built, there is a significant change, but it's all along 4A. I met with Rob the other day. His is significant. I've seen everything up to almost a foot that it was raised. Not on a driveway, but it's definitely got increased. Speaking with the state, it's all ADA driven. So certain slopes over different runs, so it's not a roller coaster. As far as anything past the right of way, the state basically says with infrastructure improvements such as paving, sidewalks, past the right of way, it's the responsibility of the property owner to take care of their driveway and adjust it accordingly.
Where does the right of way end?
Technically, it's the state's our sidewalk, but it's the state's right of way. It ends almost, I don't know if you're familiar with it, their grassy island, almost to the edge of that. So I have pictures from after it was done. You can see where the state did go back to their right of way. They have a minimum of 2 feet that they have to go. They went back all the way to the right of way to the transition, and that's before my time, so I'm not sure what it looked like or how it's deteriorated. But you're not allowed to put any kind of stormwater holding systems at all in their right of way. The state did make recommendations to create a swale in that grass island, but there's significant amount of site work that needs to be done there. And I think that's probably the major issue. So we have paving quotes from Wilk, and I didn't even get prep quotes. So
How far back was that paving?
that is going basically to the front of their building.
So that's the entire parking lot. Well,
The what's paved now.
what's paved now.
Yes, sir.
When we had talked the last time, I can't remember if we discussed going all the way to the building with them or just talking about paving where they had put the gravel in.
I think we've had numerous discussions, and I think that was one of them.
Yeah.
The paving where the gravel was, but you'd have to pull that gravel out of there to see what's under it before you could really make a
Yeah, it's
good decision on what needed to be paved and what didn't, right?
yeah. I mean, if you don't fix the whole thing, Tim Rice from Wilk, if you don't address it all, then you're right back to where you are right now. So it's, you can do it, but you probably have to drop the pavement where it comes to their sidewalk at the building. I mean, you probably have to drop that down and make a step there. That's how high it is. But it's significant work. I think the paving alone's like around $14,000
Plus any site work, so
plus side work.
you could be north of 20 pretty easy.
So Jeff, the right of way compared to the sidewalk, is it on the church's side of the sidewalk where the right of way ends?
Yes, sir.
By how much?
Maybe 10 feet.
You know where the sign is? You know where their sign, the church sign? Their sign's in the right of way. So like Smith's had that block thing built. The edge of that is pretty much the stop of the right of way.
Okay.
Good. You want a picture for visual?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
That's why, let's remove that.
So that is after it was paved, and that's from an A&R website.
I drive by there all the
Line
time.
is, I think it's it line.
Okay.
Thinking.
Put these back?
No, thank you.
I think that's plausible, yeah.
So the problem is really within the state right of way. Is that correct?
That's where the water's pooling off.
There's a bunch of problems out there. That's water off the roof problem. That's crazy elevations all over the place.
What their concern is the giant puddle of water that's in the state right of way, right at the entrance.
But I think the last time they were in, they said with the current stone that they put in place, the problem has gone away.
Correct. They were happy with that.
So they're happy with the elevation right now, but they want the town to pave it.
That was where I thought we stood.
Is that your understanding?
Yes, the gentleman I met with, it was the whole to take care of everything except for what isn't paved now.
That's different than what I thought they were talking about when they were in here the last time. I thought they were just talking about the town paving where the gravel was, and they were gonna repair the rest of their
That's
driveway.
what I thought.
But since they're not here, we can't really go much further with this, so.
I'm not inclined to agree to pave the whole driveway.
I definitely don't agree with paving the whole thing. I understand that the water has changed since the sidewalk was put in. But the sidewalk is on the state right away. And the pavement that was there was probably close to the end of its life. Is that accurate?
That's
Hard to say.
before my time here. I wouldn't.
I don't feel qualified to opine on that.
What do you mean? It doesn't last forever.
Agreed.
No,
So,
it doesn't have to be sweet.
so it was paved in, if it was paved in 1980, it's close to the end of its life where
I can't, once again, I have no way to have an opinion on that. Well, there's no question that the sidewalk is based on you provided the drawings and I was looking at the elevations. If I read this right, it's approximately 3 inches higher than it used to be
Yes, sir.
in that spot.
Yep. It's a little under 3.5.
Yeah, and at the other driveway, it's probably a little bit less than that, but not by much.
Right. So on I guess it would be the east side of the driveway, it increased about a little over 3. On the west side, it dropped. Not by much, but it dropped.
Yeah, it's not much. It's only maybe an inch. But look, it's hard to read this drawing, but
Which if the sidewalk was at that height on the other side, the problems would have been eliminated.
maybe.
Like I said, it's all ADA grade driven. So
Well, pulling the sidewalk out and putting it in 3 inches lower is not an option. But that's,
So you could just leave it not there at all, like even out in front of my place, you can do the whole show.
well, I don't believe that's a viable alternative at this point. So we're really not gonna do much tonight about this, except make sure everyone knows what the real story is.
the state's standpoint says that everything on the property owner's side of the right of way is their responsibility.
correct. I mean, it's just like when we pave. If we had to go and fix everyone's driveway perfect, we wouldn't have time to do anything else, and we wouldn't have money to do anything else.
Right.
That's an unrealistic expectation.
Sure.
So as paving is done and sidewalks, it's an improvement to infrastructure. So it's not, we're not trying to just pull one over on people, and, the paving is 10 to 12 years. And it goes up 2 inches. It's significant. I'm preparing myself for East Hubbardton. That's a lot of driveways.
Well, I know when they fixed and repaved Blissville Road, I think it was 2011. They raised the road about a foot in front of my house. It'd been too low. And they raised a substantial portion of it, so the road would not be the river. And of course, that makes my front yard wet. But it is what it is. The public infrastructure has to come first.
And on the bright side, your front lawn is green.
I don't have to water it. I can't mow the foot that it goes up, but it is what it is. The road can't be underwater.
So where do we go from here? We really are not in a position to make any decisions tonight on this. The only question I have is if the state is responsible for what happens in there right away, then why isn't the state doing something about this?
Have you ever talked to the state?
I have.
That's a whole other.
That would be why.
Say it was going to be fertile ground, but I at least wanted to make the commitment.
They're, if you've talked to them, it's just like every other right of way. When it's convenient, it's convenient. When it's not, I don't really want to hear about it. No, but it's, I think in the future, maybe checking to see if those elevations need to be at those levels, we might be able to dial it back a little bit, but you can't have the roller coasters.
Well, that sidewalk project was a learning experience on many levels.
Well, my feeling is that the select board has an appetite to help out there, even though we have no obligation to.
I think that's an accurate statement.
But we don't have an appetite to repave their entire yard.
I think that's also accurate.
And they're not here to discuss it, so I don't know where we go at this point.
I think we move on to the rec department update.
Yeah, I mean, we could discuss it and make them an offer, but I don't know if anybody wants to do that tonight or not.
I don't think we're prepared to do that.
Okay.
Don't run away. Don't run away, Jeff. You're gonna be coming back.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'll go away.
Rec department update. Good evening, John.
Evening. So, we'll start off with Adventure Camp. We just finished the first week. We had the first day of the second week. First week went very well. A lot of the pre-planning that went into camp has been very effective thus far. We had, I think, with around 56 kids, I think, most days last week. Beginning Wednesday, we picked up one other that was away at camp. So we're right around the 60 kids, and that's 60 kids paid, as I understand. But whether or not they actually all show up because of illness or vacations, or they're just not available or whatever. So we worked through there was an issue with the scholarship rollout that we brought on the Friends of Rec to collect donations to be able to alleviate the town from holding the money. And then we charged the Rec Commission with awarding the funds, which they did. But there was some miscommunication on what the nature of the funds were that we took in over the course of the year. The folks, the volunteers from, well, they're not volunteers. They volunteered for a basket raffle that raised a certain amount of money that was to go towards basically camp expenses, not necessarily scholarships. In this case, trips to Vins or Vins coming to the camp, and we went to Pond Hill State, for instance, at the end of the first week. They raised that money. All that money got pooled. When I inquired about the amount of money, we were told we had $4,800 for scholarships, and the commission went ahead and awarded $3,500. And we didn't actually have that much of money. We had $1,400 for scholarships. So Martha went ahead and put out another request via Facebook and Front Porch Forum. And as I understood in talking with Marty Alexander, she does the accounting for Friends of Rec, we had taken in an additional amount to total $3,500. And that was when I was writing this up on Friday. So we may have brought in more by now, but suffice to say that the scholarship fund, I mean, it was a bit of a panic moment for everybody involved when we learned that had happened, but we worked through it. So, and I think it speaks to the quality of the staff that we have, that we're fortunate to have for Adventure Camp. And Becky Lanfear and the other staff members, Bethany Lanfear Link. That's Becky's daughter. She's married and she had a child, I think last week. So she's actually on maternity leave. She was going to be taking over more of the camp duties, the responsibilities for running adventure camp. But of course, maternity leave changed that, and Becky stepped back up and is leading the camp. A lot of the staff that are associated with adventure camp are all educators on their summer vacations. So we're very fortunate to have a dedicated group, and most all of them came back this year, including our lifeguard that we paid to get trained up last year. So it should be, if the weeks continue to hold and everything comes to fruition, we should do very well towards the budget. And, we may actually turn a little bit of profit, but we won't be $15,000 in the hole. So I think that it was a lot of work in the off season, and it's paid off thus far. My yoga and strength classes, they're now yoga and
John, let me interrupt you just a second. How many weeks is the camp?
6 weeks.
And it's the same kids for 6 weeks?
No, you can have up to, you can have, I think there's like I'd say there's probably 120 different kids, if I had to guess.
So they can go 1 week or 6 or however they want.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have some folks that are signed up for 6 weeks, and then you have the folks whose vacation, they may be here for 2 weeks, and they may be here for a week, and they sign up and bang it out for a week, and the kids really love it. You'd be surprised at how much positive feedback we get every day with parents coming in to drop off their kids.
Nice.
I think with the addition of the trips to, different events, end of week events that we have, as those things improve, it will become a very sought after camp. And, as large as you would ever want to build it, they could probably build it. And the school has a little bit more capacity. It's really about how many kids we can carry on one bus, because that's where you get into the expense. It's 60 kids or 65, and that's one trip up to the beach. So, and it's $309.
John, one more question. You said that, Becky's on maternity leave.
Bethany, that's her daughter. Yep.
Maternity leave
From the school.
from the
She's an educator as well.
nothing to do with
No,
recreation.
no,
Okay,
we're not paying that.
I was wondering.
And it was actually a little bit of a savings there, because she was one of the directors paid a certain rate, and the person that we hired to fill that role was a little bit less. So in the end, for this summer, it'll pay off.
Thank you.
Yoga fitness / berry class with Sabrina has started to pick up more momentum, and so that's a positive. That's twice a week, 6 to 7 p.m. That's one of our alone, other than Tai Chi with Ted Day. That's one of our alone evening classes, and it does seem to be picking up some speed a little bit. Gentle yoga with you, Jill still has a lone participant, but she's sticking with it. She understood that it was going to be a building process. Move with Diane, that is had a consistent following right along. Tai Chi with Ted, he's had 1 person, 3 people, so it probably just needs more advertising. Dance with Rachel, I actually met with Rachel tonight before the meeting. She's going to start using the fitness room for her classes. She does have a summer lull right now. She isn't seeing the turnout that she would like. She's had to suspend some of the individual sessions, but she had a couple folks there when I left, and She's willing to stick with it and work through it. It's it's one of the reasons why we are affording her the rates that we are to rent that space for her to be able to get, her program built. So, Castleton Horticulture is actually youth sailing camp. The first week of camp, we had some hiccups with camp. We had some kids that may not have been necessarily prepared for camp, and they were kind of they were a tough thing to have for Joe Mark, the director, to have to work through, but he did manage to work through them. One of the grandmothers that walks regularly at the school during the winter, she was pretty upset and disappointed with the outcome, but hopefully we work through that. And we're off to another start today with the second week. I think what really started off the week last week was it was a high wind day on the first day, and some kids got scared. So it kind of had a negative effect on their progress throughout the remainder of the week. We did issue a couple of partial refunds, $40 and $60 for some sailors last week. This week, the thunderstorms held off during the day, so that was good. Joe's always worried about that. And he did message me something later in the day today about the Wi-Fi up to Crystal Beach that I need to follow up on. Apparently the router's been getting disconnected and actually unplugged and at times up there, and he really relies on Wi-Fi for his up-to-date weather apps. Any thunderstorms coming over from New York State, he needs to be up to date on, so they're not all the way out by Rabbit Island when the thing breaks loose. So I follow up on them. We have two different routers up there, but they're very temperamental. We don't have a lot of bandwidth up there. So in best case scenario, it's just barely usable. So if it's disconnected, there's no service up there whatsoever. Horticulture, we do have a cooking with herbs with Laura Valcourt tomorrow night up to the center, and this is part of a plan for actual paid classes and events. The next class will be taught by Mary Droege. This cooking with herbs is $20 per person. Mary's lecture will be $5 a person. Suffice to say that it is progress along the lines of that dedicated space. It's not solely dedicated to horticulture, but they do keep their tools in there and whatnot in the old science room. And it is something towards, Laura's very capable. She is a professional chef. Obviously Mary's an educator up to the college. And I think once they get going, they have a lot of ideas and they're starting to put them into motion. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch the horticulture program develop into something that generates revenue. Tennis in the parks, as of right now, if we can't pick up our seventh participants, it's going to have to be canceled. We have 6 as of right now. It's supposed to start the 21st, so it's really getting down to it. Frank Johnson's getting a little anxious, thinking that I should let the folks know that more than likely it's going to be canceled. We haven't picked up the numbers over the last few years. We struggled with numbers with that. It's just that tennis isn't anywhere near as popular as it used to be, and it's really being overtaken by pickleball. So that's the deal with that. But that's pretty much the update.
Question here, you're saying the cost is $10 per person on a lot of these.
Yeah.
Is that to us or is that to the instructor?
Some of it is solely to us. For instance, Jill Vitagliano is doing it entirely as a voluntary basis, so she's $10. Sabrina does it for get paid, so does Diane, and that's an 80-20 split. So we take 20%, they take 80%. I think that those numbers are really an introductory number to be able to see what the tolerance is for folks to pay for those kind of sessions. I get feedback that that's too much, but you know, Diane tells me that that's similar to what she's been charging. She does hers online and she does it down in Pulteney at the Stone Arts Center in Pulteney. So I think that's kind of an industry standard. Now, how we do the split, that really has been, you know, just something that was negotiated between myself and the instructors.
Any other questions for John? Thank you, John. Crystal Lou. I'm going to lead off by saying that the discussion for this is specifically, do we leave that little section between East and West Crystal Haven open 12 months of the year or only open during the winter months? I have spoken to police, fire, EMS, and highway, and they have all expressed a desire to leave it open 12 months of the year. You have installed stop signs at the north and south end. That's at both ends, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
And in hopes that nobody will go barreling around the corners and so now I'm going to open it up to the board. Anybody have any thoughts on whether we should keep this open or not for 12 months of the year?
I absolutely think it should stay open. For, if nothing else, for EMS ingress and egress, that that road is quite narrow. And if there was a mix up in address, if an ambulance or a fire truck were to make it all the way to Lynn's house and realize that they were supposed to be on the other road, in November, it would be a long backup. In July 4th weekend, I don't know how you get down that road. It's a narrow road. And when people are all at those homes, when the whole summer activity is in, it'd be hard enough to get the ambulance to Lynn's house. To back it up through there would be a substantial delay. So to me, it seems for a safety aspect that should be open. I don't see where it's going to increase traffic. The people that live up there. I don't think many people are going to go riding around. So from a safety aspect, I would strongly in favor of leaving it open.
Anybody else?
I would agree with Mark, but I would also talk about how we have more Amazon deliveries and stuff like that now, and having to back, you know, maybe not necessarily the best drivers backing vans up and pulling into people's driveways and trying to swing around in there.
Yeah, it's a narrow road and quite certain that it's never going to be widened.
Want to add anything, Bob?
What was that, Dick?
Do you want to add anything to this discussion?
I agree with everything that's been said so far.
I know you've delivered fuel up there, so I'm sure driving a fuel.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough just back in those little narrow driveways, and you got to keep from falling in the ditches and then staying off people's lawns, especially when there's a little bit of snow on the ground. You can't even tell where the driveways are. So, yeah, if I could just drive up through there and deliver right from the road and then drive right around and out, yeah, it's 100%. I'm in favor of keeping it open for sure.
Especially when you're driving the tandem axle, right?
Yeah, that too. That's even more difficult.
Mary Lee, anything to add?
No, I agree.
So do we need a motion or do we just need to
Just speak.
take no action?
Public comment first.
Well, public comment, sure.
I would just add, sorry, I would just add, you know, for a lot of years, there was no cut through. It was originally supposed to be a plow turnaround. Then it became a road through there. There's a stop sign on either end, yes. The only people that stop that I've seen are FedEx and UPS. Most people roll through it.
Barrel through it.
So, you know, I agree, there is a safety concern,
Absolutely.
but you could put horses up or something to close it so we don't get a lot of traffic. I mean, we bought property up there because it was a dead end road and because it was wooded. Now that's all changed. You could put barriers up there that prevent people from going through there. That's going to be a problematic for the FedEx guys and UPS guys too, Amazon. But you know, in an emergency, you just move those things, right?
That's what happened before.
That's what it used to be for the past, since that road was put in, and they said that they would always be closed during the summer. Because we didn't want the traffic. So, you know,
It could be open.
I'm torn between it. There's pluses and minuses on both sides.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we have to make our decisions based on what we think is in the public good and in the best interest of public safety. So sometimes
Absolutely.
that makes it a little difficult.
And now with the water mitigation work, if they do the drainage issues, that road's likely to be dug up. So will it then meet like state standards?
I don't think that road was ever formally designed. It's right now, the culverts aren't working properly
Right,
up
so
there.
we've been told it wasn't formally designed to meet the other.
I really can't speak to how that road was designed or even how it was installed because that was before anybody's time on this board.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's any documentation on it.
It was just
The recent group that's been studying that area for water drainage and all, I was looking at some of the diagrams that they put together and confirmed with them today that the culverts are not, you know, one of the culverts is tilted in the wrong direction, so it reverses backwards.
But that's kind of a separate topic. Whether the road is open or not open, the culverts are where they are.
Correct. I think the question was,
will it go to state standards?
will it go to state standards?
I don't think that'll ever be anything but a class 4 road. Do you agree with that, Jeff?
Correct.
That'll always be a class 4 road. It'll never be a class 2 or 3 road.
So are there no standards for class 4 roads?
Not really, no. We just have to keep them passable.
It's probably better than a lot of class 4 roads already.
Actually, I think it is.
Okay,
Okay. I would go for safety then.
well, it's gonna be open.
I think that's pretty much where the board is leaning right now, is to leave it open basically for safety. If traffic becomes a real issue up there, then we need to get PD involved or highway involved. But at this point in time, I'm not convinced that it is. There's a huge amount of traffic going over that loop road. I think it's, like you said, it's mainly deliveries. Is that correct?
No,
That's not correct.
no, there's traffic now.
Yeah, you get people doing sightseeing because of Crystal Beach, et cetera.
We get the golf cart riding around, we get people just making loops, younger people. And again, with the stop signs up, which is a good move. It just, nobody except for UPS and FedEx have stopped at it that I've seen. And that includes all the work trucks that are going through the area too.
Well, we could send the police department up there a few times to write a couple tickets for people that blow through there, and it'll probably come to a stop quickly.
That would possibly be good, because I actually saw one kid almost get hit on his bike as someone rounded, so.
It certainly wouldn't take a heck of a lot of effort for our PD to go up there and sit there once in a while and write a few tickets for people doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Not a bad idea.
So we can make that happen.
That's a good safety item too.
So what's the pleasure of this board? Do we want to leave Chris?
More questions.
Good. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
So it will be registered as a town, as a state road though?
No, not a state road, a town road.
But it is gonna be registered with the state as a road.
It'll be listed as a road on the town's inventory of roads, yes. But it will never be anything but a class 4 road, but it will be on the town inventory. Pardon?
So as long as it's registered.
It will be. Or it maybe already is on the inventory. Is it, Jeff?
No, sir.
But it will be.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Do we need a motion or?
I would make a motion that we keep Crystal Haven Loop. Did we officially name it? Last time?
We did name it.
I would make a motion that we keep Crystal Haven Loop open for safety purposes year round.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. We have discussion.
I dropped a sheet off, E911 wants to remain it as, East Crystal Haven. It depends on intersections and changing the name. So I have, the print, I got it late in the day, but there's a printout explaining why they don't want it changed.
They don't want it being called Crystal Haven Loop. It's just a continuation of East Crystal Haven.
Correct.
I would amend my motion to remove Crystal Haven Loop out of there and just keep it as East Crystal Haven.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And 911 is important. It's, for those of us who've been in emergency services, being able to find someplace quickly can make all the difference. Need a tobacco substitute endorsement for Go Grocers.
Would make a motion to approve a tobacco substitute endorsement for Go Grocers LLC doing business as Green Mountain Market 104.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Dick, can you, Dick.
Yes,
Hold on
sir.
a second. Can you just explain to me what a substitute endorsement is?
It's for the vaping products.
Okay, I just want to make it clear. Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
We have one abstention. Mark Brown. Okay, update on the West Crystal Haven Stormwater Project.
I have nothing on it in my,
I do know that the letters went out and that there was potentially a meeting. Jeff, do you have anything you can add to this?
Just the letters are going out and Hillary Solomon and Brandon Martin, will be meeting with Brad Turner, the landowner at some point soon. That's,
Mr. Turner, did you already meet with them? I thought I saw an email saying the meeting was going to occur on the 14th, or was that just a meeting between, the state and the engineers?
No, my wife and I had a call with Hillary and Brandon earlier today. Just to go over some of the preliminary diagrams or whatnot that they were able to provide. We actually reached out to them because through neighbors, we became aware that there were activity going on and we hadn't gotten any notice
Any info.
at all. So today we had a call with them today. I can confirm that the letters mailed were received today as well.
You didn't receive the letter till today.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So where do so we're still,
it's on the engineers and
it's on the engineers of the state at this point, right? Is there anything that you can add, Mr. Turner, to what we apparently don't know much about right now?
No, we just had them walk through what their current thoughts are and some of the issues that, from the seawall and the water from Tom Kern's property and that issue where it needs some repair. And then they talked about their gravel pits and ideas of where they may put them. Some of the water flow, the question came up as far as what, if anything, is being done to deter the water from Crystal Heights and Route 30 from going down to the Crystal Haven area. So there was no conclusion. We were just trying to get information to see what their thoughts are, and they left with some to-dos as far as to mark off potential, 30 by,
Wetland gravel location, there's one that's would particularly impact our property, probably have to be entirely on our property. So that's a concern. We raised the concern, as mentioned earlier, that there's a stone ditch north of that road that what's now the East Crystal Haven. That's at the top really isn't draining well. It's dependent on a culvert that heads south and then zigzags back north about halfway down that road into that drainage ditch. And that one that zigzags back halfway down the road is improperly leveled, so it doesn't drain properly.
that's where they also reference, they'll be digging up the road. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
So we raised a couple of those things, and you know, there's some drainage ditches that crisscross some of the land that's in that center area between the two East and West Crystal Havens. I don't know that there's any, you know, other than just a ditch. I don't think there's any stone in there, so that would obviously help manage the water process, et cetera. So they have some takeaways to look at.
There was nothing finalized, nothing.
I don't know if you looked at some of the diagrams that they did, but one of the watersheds in particular is a huge area that goes up Route 30 and way over, you know, I forget how many acres it is. It's a big area. So the question is, for them to take away, what's the stormwater management going on at Route 30 and everything, and up above that to the east right now? So they were going to come back with look at some of those things, and I think we're going to try to capture. I don't know that there's been any sampling of any of those locations for water samples, but we might try to capture some of that.
So is there a next step in place? I haven't seen the letter.
Yeah,
The letter set just references they're going to be meeting with all people, the neighborhood, I'll say it that way.
area property
From our
owners. Yeah. standpoint,
they were going to try to mark off the potential gravel pit areas, which is of interest to us because they're 20 by 30,
At
20
least.
by 40, could be larger. That's a big swath of potential property. So we have to see what that means.
So it sounds like Stone Engineering isn't done with all their data collection at this point. Is that correct?
Oh no,
Well, I can't speak to them.
I would say no. I think this was like a first pass to try to say, you know, what would people's reaction be to some of these proposed solutions? I don't think they've even done a deep dive on what those solutions are going to be and mapping them all out. They're trying to sounds like they're just trying to test and see what people's temperament is. Tom, I don't know if you know more about it than that. Tom Kearns.
I know that certainly a lot of what their work was based on whether or not property owners were willing to have these infiltration ponds
Yeah.
on your
Right,
property.
and
That's
this was
mostly
our-
your property.
Yeah,
Well-
and this was our first discussion or any insight into any of the information.
So that's what we were trying to understand, what the impact of that was, and that's where it could be anywhere from like 20 to 30 to 20 to 40 feet.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's
it's a
a
big rectangle
that's a big piece of property for
for a small lot of.
lots of land up in that area.
It is, yeah. Okay, so at this point, I just read a copy of the letter. It looks like they're just fact finding, trying to get the feelings of the property owners and what you're okay with before they move forward into their final design.
Well, they have a couple of takeaways. Yeah, that's what their letter says. Yeah, but from our call today, there were the takeaways that we
And I
listed.
assume they'll be having meetings with others.
So what I will do is I'll follow up with the town manager and figure out or see if we know what the next steps are between Hillary Solomon and Stone Engineering.
Yeah.
So that we can all get on the same page and hopefully come up with a plan.
Sure.
Anything else we can do tonight?
Not really.
I don't think so.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Turner. Let's move on to grading of the salt shed apron. This one I think is pretty easy. This needs to happen, right? And we don't have the equipment to do it. Is that correct, Jeff?
That's correct. So, Fabian and Wilk are on the same page with each other and coordinating times and schedules, so it's kind of.
So we need to authorize spending $2,250 out for Fabian to do the grading and then we get out of the way?
Sir.
This is gonna come out of the money that we had set aside for the salt and sand shed.
Yes, I was assured by our town manager as recently as last Friday that this was all still with, or Thursday rather, that it was all still within budget.
Okay. And make a motion to approve the sum of $2,250 to Fabian Earth Moving to complete the work to grade and swale the apron in front of the new salt shed to Staso Road and to compact all affected areas.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve Fabian's earth moving. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Winter stone bids. This one should be pretty straightforward. We need 1,500 tons of half-inch clean stone to mix with the existing sand that we currently have.
Yes, sir.
And your recommendation is Casella's,
It is.
and they will deliver.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion?
We ready for a motion?
I think so.
Make a motion to approve the sum of $32,000 for 1,500 tons of half-inch clean stone to Casella's. Second.
Moved and seconded to purchase the stone from Casella. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Safe to say that's in the winter sand budget, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought.
Jeff, I'd like to say, since you started mixing that stone, I think the dirt roads are in much, much, much better shape in the spring. Excellent idea.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about East Hubbardton paving or culvert replacement. This all has to happen before the paving, which is going to happen when?
Mid to late August.
Okay,
So we're roadside mowing's about wrapped up and ditching starting tomorrow. So moving right along.
we're on schedule, so you need to pull the trigger on these culverts.
Yes, sir.
So
All these bids are for the same culverts?
Correct.
Okay. Same quality and everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
what's your recommendation?
Lane. They have a state bid with the plastic, and where they really come through is on the squashed on the metal culverts. They're significantly cheaper. I used them when I worked in Saratoga area. They have a good reputation. I've been dealing for over 20 years.
Good product?
Good product.
Your recommendation is to purchase all these from Lane.
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion to approve the culverts needed for the East Hubbardton paving project from Lane out of Boston Spa for the sum of $7,752.32.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't have anything in my packet on this, but I do know that, we're talking about the Fire District 1 long-term rental agreement. I do know that we have an offer of $800 a month to rent what used to be the guidance room. I don't know what they call it now, the Vermont room. And
You kind of explain where it is.
Just before the girls' locker room on the right.
Okay, thank you.
it's the one that has its own outside entrance,
Gotcha.
which is one of the reasons it makes it attractive to Fire District 1. And they're ready to move in when, John?
They'd like to get in by August 1st.
Is that achievable?
Make it happen.
Fair enough. Any more and so what does the rest of the board think about this? Are you in favor, or is this something we want to do, or do we not want to do?
Is this a long-term?
yeah, they'd be basically until we tell them they gotta leave.
So this is $800. Done.
Correct. Inclusive. They have to provide their own phone and internet
Well, we provide heat.
and electricity.
And the room's gonna be heated anyway, whether they're in there or not.
Anyway,
What little bit of electricity are they gonna use?
I'm all in favor of it. I think that there should be a beginning and an end to it, or at least an inflation clause. So 20 years from now, they're not still paying $800.
I agree with that too. I was having similar thoughts, but at this point in time, we can tell this town manager to go ahead and proceed with entering into a rental agreement. And we'll,
Yeah, I would think that it fits nicely with our goal to make that building generate some income so that it's closer to cash neutral,
And it's a town related rental.
and it's a town related. Yep.
so we can tell the
Do you
town
have any
manager.
input on this one way or the other?
You know, I think it's a great use of the space. It's, like Carrie said, and the majority of the board members that came over to look at the space said they wanted to support the rec center and town government. So that was their motivation as well.
We need a motion or?
Well, at this point, why don't we just have an action item for me to talk to the town manager and make sure that we have a rental agreement ready for our approval at the next select board meeting. I think that the fire district was looking for from us was, do we have an appetite for this? And, I'd say that we do. So I'll tell the town manager that we need to get a rental agreement in place and, as long as it meets the criteria of, you know, being negotiated as costs go up, then, you know, we can renegotiate that price someday because like Mark said, 20 years from now,
Yeah.
it's the same
It
number.
might not be 800.
Other than that, you know, and it should have a, you know, like a 2-year term and then it has to be renegotiated every 2 years or something. So,
I think 20 is a little too long.
you think that'll be enough to keep it going, John?
Yeah.
All right. So I will talk to the town manager when he gets back from his vacation about that. Okay, moving on. Okay, setting the tax rate. We're not actually going to set the tax rate tonight. This was basically for discussion.
Did you get the newest one?
I didn't look at it because I got here basically on 2 wheels. Is it significantly different than the other one?
Yes.
Bye, Jeff.
You'll have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Hey,
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I also want to say you guys have done a great job with the roadside mowing. Boy, a lot of our roads, like my road, when you hit the town to the south, you know, all of a sudden the road's 2 feet narrower because there's so much vegetation. You can't see what's on the side. So really nice work.
That's my goal. I want other people to wonder what their town's doing. So,
They're not roadside mowing.
have a good night, y'all. Thank you.
Good night. So what's significantly different here?
The resident tax rate went down. It was the other one that we had.
Yeah, that's driven by state though. We don't have anything we only can deal with the municipal. I mean, we accept that rate.
Yeah,
when we
but
do
it
the
was
mowing.
less than what it was with the previous sheet that we had.
It did go down by 20 cents.
Yeah.
Which is always welcome. I did notice that when you take a look at the municipal tax rate that's projected, this isn't final yet, but this is a pretty close estimate. It's at 0.3834 as opposed to last year's was 0.5455. So when you factor in the fact that most people's houses have been appreciated in value on the new assessment by 68% on average, your tax liability won't change significantly. Do you do the same math, Mark? Do you agree with what I said?
I do.
So this is
They do
not,
for people whose homes went up by 1.68. They're gonna be just about even.
that's what I did. I did the math real quick, and that's what I came up with, is basically not gonna make a heck of a lot of difference for most taxpayers.
Correct.
And what's welcome there is the fact that the amount raised by taxes is, for this coming fiscal year, is projected to be, 400 and, well, not quite $400,000 more than last year, and the tax rate still won't be, or the tax burden won't be significantly different. Any more discussion on this? Everyone on the board with me on this? I understand what we're doing? Okay. Certainly.
Okay, just thinking about tax bills, and when were you planning on taxes?
Summing it up in the last meeting in July.
Okay, so that gives us, really one day to get the tax bills out.
I thought it
Because
was more than that.
if it's set on the 28th, we won't have that answer until the 29th, which is the tax rate, the delinquent tax sale is set on the 29th, which we're gonna go into more discussion about that. When Mary Jo only works Tuesdays and Thursdays, so unless we can get her to come in on Wednesdays to help, because she starts that process and printing the bills. So that would be Wednesday. Thursday is the 31st. And they need to be out 30 days before the due date.
Which is August 31st.
No, yes, correct. Correct. So just wanted to keep that in the thoughts of, do we do a revised bill? Do we?
Well, there is a possibility that we could add it to the agenda for the special meeting on the 21st, but that's and that's
And then that's
a
all,
discussion we can have with the town manager.
right, and that's all based on if we get the information back from the state.
Yeah, how firm is
What
this?
they're rated.
How
So
firm is the state's education rate at this point?
I do not know. I came in and I asked Joe to send this today. I don't know what they discussed. He didn't have any commentary with that.
Because draft 3 as of July 11th and draft 4 as of July 14th, the education rate has changed.
Yes. And I don't know. I think Mary Jo filed it today, but I am not 100%. I didn't get confirmation.
Oh, and until, I do know that we really can't send out the tax bills until the state education rate is firm, and I don't know if that's firm yet, do you?
I believe it is not.
That's what I thought.
I'm not sure how many days they have. I mean, if it's 30 days and they take all of that time, I mean, we're well past the 30 days to get out.
So in any case, today, we cannot accept the education rate from the state. So we're still stuck in the mud, but the projected municipal rate is good news, I think. Always good when taxes don't go up. I know when a lot of people, when they saw their assessment, were concerned that their taxes were going to increase, and if most people's assessment increased on the town average, then their tax liability from a municipal point of view won't change significantly. That's welcome
All
news.
the grievances been,
The process is still going through with the assessor. And I don't know at what point it goes to the BCA, the ones that aren't resolved with the assessor and the company that we hired to do the assessing.
it's too late to talk to Mary Jo and Tyler.
I think so. You'd have to talk to Mary Jo about that, but I'm pretty sure that window has closed.
There was only, I think, like 140 total.
Something like.
Way less than the last appraisal.
Last appraisal was north of 250, and this time it was below 150.
Yeah.
So it was significantly less grievances.
Just curious.
Tax sale discussion.
Just curious, is there a trend on the state education rate? I know you don't have any control over it, but is there some sort of trend? Is it keep going up?
Well, this time around, the good news is their first projection for, are you homestead or non-homestead?
No,
On,
Non-homestead, it didn't change significantly from last year. last year's non-homestead rate was 2.5321. This year it is projected to be 2.0839. So it's gone down. Gee, what's that? 20%? Sound right, Mark?
That's good, because the assessment's gone up, so all right, that's good.
But our municipal rate, yeah, that's true. The assessment's gone up.
Yeah, we understand the municipal aspect of
Is not bad. That's a one. It's
Yeah.
the non-homestead education that
this.
kills.
The state tax or the state education tax is a killer.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I think it's
That's
the
gone
best of
down.
the economy.
yeah, the non-homestead rate has gone down 20%. The homestead rate, similar amount, which is not welcome news when you think about the assessed values going up an average of 68%.
Exactly, and where we already were with it. So that's
Well, I'm hoping that their pencil gets a little sharper when our CLA, well, that's the other thing, is if our CLA isn't firmed up yet. Because that CLA is a multiplier or a divider rather. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but if you divide something by 1, you get the same number. If you divide it by 0.8, you get a number 20% higher. Is that correct?
Correct.
So hopefully if our CLA goes from 0.7
I think it was last year.
up to 1, that divider will change our tax liability significantly, we hope.
Substantially. Right, that was the benefit of the appraisal.
That's one of the main reasons we did it. So the dust hasn't settled on the non-homestead or the homestead rate yet. So we're resident and non-resident rate. So we'll have to wait and see where that dust settles. Unfortunately, like you said, we can't control that.
yeah.
Yep, understood. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome. At least what we can control worked out well. So now let's talk about tax sale discussion. We have 5 properties that are up for tax sale? We've already authorized the town manager to proceed, so I'm not sure what action, you can help me here, Christine, what
Looks like
action we need to
4
take
we're
now?
at now.
There are 4, yes. The number 5 has paid his delinquent prior
Okay.
to 2023. So he just has this current year.
So there's only 4 at this point.
Correct.
Number 1 through 4 on this list?
Correct.
So what action do you need from us, since we'd already authorized the town manager to proceed?
I'm not sure there's any action. I know there was some discussion about one of the participants.
Yeah,
Renegotiating.
but at the last I talked to the town manager about that particular property was Thursday, and nothing had been renegotiated to our town manager's satisfaction.
That's correct.
So I told him that at this point in time, Mike, you have to make
As much as we don't want to.
Right, we don't have any appetite to move forward with a tax sale on anybody's property. And I think that we authorize the town manager to go above and beyond.
Be as lenient as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really unpleasant.
Well, the one that he discussed with me in detail the other day, it's been going on for decades. He's really wasn't getting any satisfaction. So I told him that at this point in time, he needed to keep it on the list.
Right, none of these are because they're 12 months old.
Correct.
They're substantially overdue.
Correct. So at this point, I think the town manager, when he gets back, he can proceed. Any more discussion on that? Much as none of us have an appetite for that, I just don't think we have any alternative.
How far are we going?
Just to him.
That's part of the plan. Okay,
Okay. With this, the select board.
correct. Manager's report, we don't have a manager and I don't have a hard copy of a report. I did get an email that I looked at briefly, but does anyone have any comments or thoughts on the town manager's report?
Where's he off?
Today he's in Gettysburg.
Oh, okay.
I have nothing.
Okay, then let's, move on to purchase orders. I don't have a red folder. I do have a red folder.
You got something in Chinese?
I was trying to figure it out too.
I think there's some legal reason why things have to be presented in various languages. So,
They're just trying to cover all their bases there.
although my, Farsi is not as good as my English.
We ready to go?
We are ready to go with purchase orders.
Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 053886 to Overhead Door. And that's the balance for the garage doors at the highway department for the sum of $6,200.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Was that an aye, Bob?
it was an aye.
Okay, we only got part of the syllable.
Motion to approve purchase order number 053980 to GSB, care of M&T Bank, for the firefighter term life insurance for the sum of $2,680.59.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Move on to warrants.
Make a motion to approve warrant number 0714R for the sum of $700. Warrant number 0626 for the sum of $51,309.79. Warrant number 0711 for the sum of $41,891.16. Warrant number 0714 for the sum of $362,080.26. Warrant number 0626P for the sum of $22,873.22. Warrant number 0703P for the sum of $23,304.36. And warrant number 0710P for the sum of $23,665.87.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the warrants. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dick, I'm gonna abstain because I'm not back until next Monday and I don't want to hold up the process.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to change my name to shorter.
No, you don't. You just gotta scribble
Can't do that.
it. You can.
You can thank the US military for my signature. After you sign your name hundreds of times a day for months.
Thank the state of Vermont's fishing license division for mine.
Same idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. You can blame the teachers.
And those back to me, I'll walk them over. Or I'll walk them over to Christine.
One more coming, Dick.
Okay.
Fast is the calmer method of golf.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Dick, can I borrow your pen? Oh, thank you.
No, you can't.
I've got one.
Do we have 7, Mark? You found? Do we have 7?
I didn't count.
You didn't. But we can start with select board comments while I'm counting warrants. So Mary Lee, do you have anything?
No.
Rob?
I'm good.
Mark?
I'd like to pursue EMS fees with the University of Vermont.
Vermont State University?
Vermont State University, yeah, not UVM.
That might be a bit of a stretch.
I knew what you meant.
Okay, good. They pay over $1 million to the city of Burlington.
For EMS.
UVM does.
UVM has their own fire department, their own police department, and their own EMS, and they still pay $1 million a year, over $1 million, to the city of Burlington for enhanced coverage in areas of the campus. And I know that UVM is different than Vermont State University, but they're owned by the same town government. And I believe that we should be entitled to some reimbursement for those services that we extend. You know, what's the population of our town? 4,200?
It's less than it was. I know it was 4717, but then that was in 2010,
And there's about
2000.
1,800 people that attend the university. And there is a substantial amount of effort between those 3 agencies spent out there. And they don't participate in the grand list. So I think that there should be some compensation. And that we should be pursuing it vigorously.
How would we pursue it?
I am confident that Mike Jones sent a letter to the president of the Vermont State University, but I don't know how much traction that got.
Well, he just retired.
Chased him right out.
He saw that coming. He said, I'm not dealing with this.
But I think that we need to stay on top of it. You know, I just, Mr. Newton, you can finish my sentence.
No, I just wanted to, I should have mentioned it earlier. You may already know about it. But Representative Canfield sent me an email today, and this might be an opportunity. Governor Scott will be in Fairhaven on Wednesday at noon to sign a bill. I don't know which one it is that was passed in the legislature this year. It'll be on Prospect Street. I'm not sure where, so you'd have to find out. But usually at an occasion like this, that the governor takes time following a ceremony like that to talk with various people in attendance. And he might listen to you people being on the select board members.
That's a good idea. I think, you know, the fire department has spent substantial resources.
Police department.
That ladder truck is at 100 feet.
I think so.
You know, clearly there's no residential building in town that needed that. That provides additional safety to the university. And a lot of police hours, EMS, and they should be participating in the substantial expense of that. You know, a lot of towns like Poultney doesn't have a police department, but we do. And again, during quite a lot of the year, there's 1,800 people there, 40% of the population of the town. Our police budget's $700,000. They should contribute.
I can't argue with that. I do know that the town manager did write a letter. I don't know if he's gotten any response back, but we can also
Keep at it.
ask him for some follow-up.
Yeah.
We did get a copy of that letter. He sent it to all of us.
Yes, we did.
But that
You have
would
stats?
be some relief to our taxpayers.
Say again, Bob?
I was going to ask, do you have stats on the calls? Sorry.
Who's talking?
I was gonna ask, do you have stats on the calls that would substantiate with data? And are there other university locations in other towns you can find out if those towns are compensated?
Those questions have been asked. I don't believe we've got an answer yet, but yes, that's something we've been looking at.
Okay.
Typically Lindenville and Randolph.
And,
There's actually a campus in Burlington too.
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, so I don't think that's very active now, is it? But I don't know. Anyways, I do agree, Mark, we need to follow up on that. Bob, do you have any, or do you have anything else, Mark?
I don't.
Should we
Bob.
all go to Fairhaven?
It certainly wouldn't hurt to speak to our governor. I think he's responsive.
What date was that and what time?
It's at noon on Wednesday and it's on Prospect Street. And Prospect Street, if you don't know where it is, it's the road that, you know, where the rescue squad is on. And I can't remember that, but Canfield, Representative Canfield would know. I can
Is it this Wednesday?
Huh?
This Wednesday?
Yes, this Wednesday. Yeah.
2 days?
And he's signing a bill that was passed in the legislature. And I don't even know what the bill was, but it was H something.
I'll look into that tomorrow.
Mark, do you know Canfield's?
I do.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay, you can find out.
Yep. I'll give him a call.
Okay,
I can make myself available.
I won't guarantee I will be.
We could always show off our new fire trucks by parking them on one end of the road and the other end of the road, and then we're kind of guaranteed a little bit of a meeting there.
That's right.
Bob, you got anything for select board comments?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm
We're
good.
gonna move on to action items. I've got a list. We're gonna ask PD for oversight on Crystal Loop. So these are things I'm gonna get with the town manager on next week. We gotta make sure we warn the decision for tier 2B on the Rutland Regional Planning. And that has to be on the agenda for the next meeting. We're going to have a discussion about Crystal Lane one-way from a suggestion from Lynn Gee. We're going to follow up on the cost sharing for Vermont State University and Police Fire EMS. Fire district rental agreement needs to be firmed up before the next meeting, and I'm going to follow up with the town manager on the Crystal Haven stormwater plan. Anything else? That's what I've got. Am I forgetting anything?
I think you have it all.
Okay.
I'm gonna tie back into a sewer meeting thing, just make sure that we're still moving forward on the stuff that's in the ground currently. I know it's not a sewer commission meeting, but it's pretty important to me.
It is an action item. So I'm going to call it the sewer infrastructure inspection.
I know I talked to Russ and he was talking about one location where when it was raining, it was blowing the manhole cover up because so much water was coming in from up above.
Did you people know 3 years in a row, July 17th, Vermont has had floods? Not 17th, July 11th, July 11th. There's been a flood 3 years in a row in Vermont.
I was aware of that.
I didn't until my daughter told me this afternoon.
We're pretty fortunate right here.
Yeah, we've been lucky through a lot of them,
We've dodged.
knock on wood.
We haven't had a really bad one in 30 years.
Yeah, even Irene, although I remember going down on Cemetery Street there and watching that culvert for Pond Hill going into the Castleton River was running backwards. The water was coming out of that culvert instead of going in it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, there was brown bales bobbing down the river and stopping underneath and going under the bridge on Cemetery Street. It was.
North Road had a big washout in 1980, I think, something like that. I think there was a microburst up there, took out 50 or 60 feet of North Road. I think that's the last real serious one we had.
I was still living in No, I was in Granville then. Maybe, no, 1980?
Right around there.
I was in the North Atlantic. I wasn't even in this country. Okay, I think we're done with action items, so I think we need an executive session for personnel.
To include just the select board, seeing how Mike's not here.
And anyone else?
No,
Not even Mr. Alexander.
no,
Then we're gonna need to have that one first.
you can't.
This makes it awkward. I guess. Thank you for coming, John. So make your motion, Mary Lee.
Well, hang on a sec. Can we do this and then have another one with John?
I don't care. I just want this to be first with just
So you need 5 minutes?
5, 10, the most.
Would you mind waiting, John? I appreciate that. Thank you.
If you could wait in your car, we'll give you a text.
Or we'll come out and get you.
Okay.
Would you like me to give it a shot? Cause I think I got the language here.
Yeah, give it your best shot. We'll give you a high mark for effort.
I would make a motion to go into executive session. Motion, how did this work out? You gotta do one first, right?
Yeah, you gotta do the one where you find cause for.
Would make a motion to find that premature general knowledge regarding the personnel matter at hand would put the board at a substantial disadvantage because of the sensitive nature of the personnel situation.
That's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And make a motion to go into executive session under the provisions of Title I, Section 313 of the Vermont statutes to include the board and, oh wait, is it just the board tonight?
Just the board.
Okay, just the board for personnel.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Christine, here's
Aye.
the part where it gets awkward.
Make a motion to come out of executive session at 9:03 with 9:04 with no action taken.
Second.
Moved and seconded, come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And make a motion to find that premature general knowledge regarding the personnel matter at hand would put the board at a substantial disadvantage because of the sensitive nature of the personnel situation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And make a motion to go into executive session with the select board and John Alexander to discuss personnel under the provisions of Title I, Section 313 of the Vermont statutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we're again. I'd make a motion to come out of executive session at 9:14 with no action taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there
Aye.
any other business before this board?
I have none.
No,
It's up to you, Mary Lee.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 9:15.
It's been, do we have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.